Hi, I'm Dr. Claudia Six. I'm a clinical sexologist and relationship coach. For over 30 years that I have been doing this, every single person complains about communication, usually about their partner's communication. And what I tell people is, people always communicate. People are always telling you about themselves, and people always communicate verbally and with body language. The problem is they usually don't like the communication that they're getting, and that's when problems happen. And people tend to react and don't know how to respond to communication. So I have a number of communication tips that I teach people to have more effective communication. First is your basic guidelines. All communication can bring people closer together or push them further apart. Think about your objective. What are you trying to accomplish? If you want to come closer to the person you're communicating with, here's a number of guidelines I offer. One is make I statements. You've heard about I statements. So I statements is talking about yourself, your experience, and your feelings. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. You might say, for example, you know, honey, when I notice you doing this, I imagine this, and I feel this, and that hurts my feelings. So that is more I statement kind of communication. There's nothing for the other person to defend against. Stay away from always and never, because that will make the other person defensive, and that's the end of your effective communication. Another big difference to bear in mind is that, assuming a heterosexual model, men and women communicate very differently. Men tend to be more straight to the point, and men's delivery can be a little slower, partly because men sometimes take a while to figure out what they're thinking and feeling and need a little bit more time. But a key distinction is that when a man stops talking, it doesn't mean he's done with what he has to say. It means he's thinking about what he's going to say next. So when a woman jumps in as soon as there's a pause, what she actually does is she's missing the rest of the communication. Women tend to be a little more indirect. They tend to meander, and they tend to be a little more emotionally, there tends to be a bit more emotional content to their communication. And women tend to interrupt more. So men and women communicate very differently, and I help couples navigate these differences. I think that's the crux of basic communications between men and women. And if you want to hear more about this, I invite you to go to my website, drsix.net, and at the top there's a strip where it says book a free consultation, and we can talk and we can take it from there. I'm Dr. Claudia Six.